right? It's almost become this kind of trendy pop culture thing where you hear different celebrities, even Drake this week in his Rap Radar interview talked about manifestation and how he felt like he was able to manifest things in his life. If you are a football fan, you'll oftentimes hear Tom Brady talk about how in his off season, he spends a lot of time doing mindful, deliberate work, including manifestation. You hear different people like Oprah and Deepak Chopra and just a myriad of people talk to you about the law of attraction, and within that, the law of manifestation. So what is manifestation? It is a way of saying something is apparent to the senses and is synonymous with evident, apparent, or clarity. Basically, the public display of emotion or feeling or something theoretical is made real through a sign of alignment. So, to break that down in layman's terms, it's just a way of saying that you are using all your senses, not just your mind power, not just your physical power, but even the vibration, the energy in which you are living. You are using all of those senses to create your reality. So once you've aligned your mind to your actual physical senses that something is going to be real, you are literally drawing that energy to you. Right? So I think a lot of times when people think of manifestation, they think like, oh, okay, so what you saying, like, if I just think of this person right now, you know, like, ooh, I want Mike to call me. I want Big Dick Mike to call me, you know, like, oh, it's just going to happen, you know. It doesn't really work like that though. Because it isn't just the way that you think about something. It is the consciousness that you give that thought. So I see myself as being someone who is not just a podcaster, but someone who is meant to talk about stuff like manifestation to you in a way that maybe other people don't talk to you about it. You know, like people will just kind of very unconsciously say shit like, oh, you need to just manifest that shit, bruh. Like, and they don't even know what they're saying. They don't even know. They think that they're just telling you to just think about it. Just think good thoughts, which is such a kind of toxic level to even relate to people on, you know, those type of people that'll tell you if you just think positive about something, but it's not just thinking about it in the sense of I'm thinking about it with warmth. I'm thinking about it with positivity, with good feeling. It is also kind of the display of emotion that you give it. So you ever had a situation where you all right, so you was with somebody, right? And you was like, all right. I'm going to choose to believe that we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Meanwhile, you are going through their phone. When they're texting, you're kind of leaning back, you know. Really, what you're manifesting is what you're physically putting your power into, not the way you're thinking. Right? So, because that is just a thought. A thought without any action towards it, without any energy behind it, is just that. It is a thought. Right? So, you know, that's kind of more understanding how thoughts are just things. And oftentimes we actually equate ourselves with thought. However, that action that you're putting behind it, that's actually what you're manifesting. So people who say shit like, man, I don't even go out here looking for trouble and shit. I don't bother nobody. But if they were to walk around with a mirror in front of them, Their entire energy is, don't fuck with me. I'm not to be fucked with. Fuck you. And that is what people are truly responding to. So what you're manifesting is not the thought process that you think you're walking around with. Because that thought of thinking, oh, I don't do anything to anybody, whatever. That's not what people are responding to. What people are responding to is your actual physical alignment with your mind. Your display of emotion and feeling, right? That's what people respond to. Like if I can impart anything on you before you walk into 2020, please understand that your life, our lives are truly a manifestation of our energy. It's not just a response to a thought, right? So manifestation, which is a part of the law of attraction, manifestation has its very foundation in intention, right? So what is meant by that is your heart and your mind activate at a ground point, right? That's intention. That's like, it's possibly the best kept secret of the law of attraction, right? The point of intention is, in some senses, the point of intention is basically the concept that the meeting ground between your heart and your mind are what activates the manifestation, right? So intention point, you manifest from a higher energy vibration. So when you are able to understand like the reasoning behind execution, if that makes sense. So the reason why I bring intention up first is because that is what the universe responds to. It doesn't respond to your thought. So if your intention is, I'm just going to be a success, right? Well, that's defined very loosely. And, that's one of those things where it's so abstract depending on the subjectivity of who's looking at it. So you have to be more direct with what it is that you want from something. So if you say stuff like, I want relationships to teach me, well, that's not exactly direct and specific. That's subjective. And sometimes, bitch, the lesson that you learn, whew, what a doozy. What a doozy, So I think that when you understand that the very foundation of manifestation has to be your intention point, then you can move on to understanding visualization and how creative visualization plays a role in manifestation. So studies show that sports stars often, I talked about Tom Brady, often improve their skills most effectively by seeing themselves in their visualization. Many people try to find the third person perspective as like kind of the best way to create the construct in which you want to live. So by that I mean, all right, so we're talking about the basis of manifestation is intention. Okay, cool. So what is my intention for whatever it is that I'm doing? All right, so I've established my intention. Now I want to use that and actually visualize it. So my intention is to have a meaningful conversation with my friends about, the status of our relationship and lack of communication. And what I choose to impart is nothing but love and wisdom and understanding. So now I am envisioning what that conversation will look like, surrounded, even with me stepping back and not seeing myself in a one-dimensional view, but stepping back and being able to look from a macro level at the conversation. And what is it that I want that to look like? How do I want that to look? That is visualization. So you've got to use, okay, you got manifestation, you've got intention, you've got visualization, right? So then we talk about multi-sensory visualization. And that's kind of a change up to your perspective when you're visualizing, right? And what I mean is that you need to involve more than just your sense of sight. So more than just, okay, so my eyes are closed and I could see what this looks like, but you use all your senses to create a more like vivid picture of it. So I could literally close my eyes and think of what a live show would look like, right? And I can see me sitting at a table talking to you guys, and there's an audience, and I could see us. I could see the lights. I could feel the heat from the lights. I can smell the auditorium, and it has like almost like an old library smell to it. I could see your beautiful brown faces. I could see your faces. Like I could feel physically what that feels like. Now I'm taking my manifestation, my intention, my visualization, and now I'm putting multiple sensory visualization into it, where I'm physically feeling what it is, perception wise, not just look, but I could smell it, I could taste it, I could feel it physically. Now, there is also kind of this weirdness to manifestation, where you've got to question kind of your own beliefs about what's possible. And in a lot of cases, you have to deal with the negative self-talk that you have, or believing that you just can't do something. You have to kind of deal with that also in the process of manifestation. So if there's any self-talk, negative self-talk that exists about what it is that you are trying to manifest, right? You know, I don't know if this is going to be possible. The first thing you have to do is get to the root of it. Oh yes, get to the root. Find out why it is that you are questioning the possibility of this thing being able to happen. And when you're able to trace it back to one thing, or whether it is one thing or a multitude of things, what you have to do is get to the root of that. Find out why you're allowing the power of that to rob you of this moment. And then you basically tell yourself, right? Because there's some self-talk that's involved as well, is you basically have to tell yourself that those things no longer can bind you. So part of manifestation is also being fully conscious of the negative self-talk so that you can deactivate it, right? Because what you don't want to do in manifestation is just believe that the thought and the visualization and even multi-sensory visualization will mean that the weapon of self-doubt still won't come. And for a lot of us who suffer with, anxiety or depression or any a myriad of mental highs and lows, we'll be able to tell you that some days you can't stop the self-negative doubt. But when you know what it is that you're looking for, you're able to slay that giant. So you got to Dave it up. You got to bow up on it. All right. So the other thing is connecting with an object. So for me, I had a listener send me a microphone, right? And I'm using that microphone to represent the reality of what I want to manifest. And I basically can touch this object and reconnect with the confidence and determination that brought me to that manifestation point. So whatever it is, whether it's a letter,